Hi my friends, how are you doing? Hope you're doing well and having a fantastic day. I'm doing well. I'm really excited because I have gone through my palettes and have pulled the ones out that I think would be awesome and fun to wear this spring. So if that sounds interesting to you, stay tuned. By the way, if you're new here, hi, welcome. I'm Emily's, but you can call me Em, and you're watching Makeup Brave. If this is your first time here and you want to come back and hang out again in the future because you love creativity, you love artistry, you love having fun with makeup, and you love just letting loose and just enjoying what you've got in your collection, then come hang out again, because I am on a bit of a no-low buy and have been for a while because I have an obscene amount of makeup and I'm trying to use it. In so doing, I have decided to feel not so overwhelmed by my eyeshadow palettes. So what I've been doing is I've been pulling palettes out for the season that I'm going to be dedicating some love and some focus on, so that I am getting more use out of the palettes I own and not also feeling overwhelmed looking at my big drawers of stuff like, oh my gosh. Let's get into it. What are the palettes that I've pulled out this spring and what I'm going to be playing with for the next couple of months? Are you ready? I'm ready. Ready. Yeah, I don't know what that was, but it's late. It's 11 o'clock. I just got off of a live stream. My words are kind of mush and gone. Let me quickly show you what palettes I'm keeping out just because they're good neutrals. They're things that are kind of everyday palettes. These are also things that I'll probably swap out maybe next time I do another curation, just so I'm keeping it fresh and playing with some of the other neutral palettes I have. First up is this e.l.f. one. It's called Mad for Matte. These are all matte eyeshadows. Obviously, it comes in a fun array of colors here. I like using these for eyeliners, or if I have a palette or whatever that doesn't quite have a matte shade that I'm looking for, then I'll pull this out. It's a fantastic little palette. I've got this one here. This one's the Dream Big palette from Tarte. This one is a travel palette for me. It's like an everyday go-to palette. It's nothing like super sexy, nothing super fancy. It's just nice to have if I go traveling or I'm doing an overnight trip or whatever, or if I just need something real fast. I like to dig that palette out and just play with that. Here is another matte palette that I find really helpful when I'm looking to do a specific kind of makeup look. This one's the Morphe 12P, and it is 12 matte shades, and obviously they're very colorful. So it's got some really funky shades in there, so like that matte red, the yellow, there's some neon colors as well. This has come in handy for more editorial like makeup looks. I've got this matte palette. Do you see a theme here? Matte. This one is Viseart, and it is their neutral mattes palette. I keep this out because, again, they're mattes, there's neutrals, there's warms, and there's cools. There's just a nice array of neutral skin tone type shades. It's just a nice palette to have on hand. And finally, this one's kind of a new favorite of mine, like an unspoken hero, because I only just started using this recently. It was brand new and never used until maybe 3 months ago. It is the Lights Off palette from Wet n Wild. It's one of their color icons. I have done so many beautiful eyeshadow looks with this palette. I've been wearing this one a lot for very simple neutral looks that are really pretty and sparkly. If I'm wearing that palette on a live stream, I almost always get asked, what are you wearing on your eyes? Because it's so pretty. That one I believe is still available if you're interested. Okay, let's get into the colorful things. Some of these are older palettes that are no longer available. They were either limited edition, the brands may no longer be available, yada yada yada. Again, I am trying to use up makeup I already own. I don't need to continually add to my collection, so I'm trying to get use out of the beautiful palettes I own, trying to just have fun with the things, right? Just having fun with the things. First up, this is a Wanderlust palette from Flower Beauty. This one is the New York City Midnight Manhattan palette. The packaging's a little defunct. This is what this one looks like. This shade in the top middle looks green, but at a different angle, it's a duochrome. It's a brown and green, and it is gorgeous. That color alone is what drew me to pull this palette out for spring. There's some pinks and there's some plums in here too. This is a very spring-like palette. I see floral when I look at this. The quality of these eyeshadows are so good. So I'm really excited to play with that one because I have not given that palette much love at all. Next is this limited edition palette from Shroud Cosmetics, and it was a collaboration with Betty Jean, or Batty Bean as she's known as, and it's Frickin' Bats palette. Now, at first glance, you might think, that's a very bold palette. When I was swatching these shimmer shades, which go in that X pattern, all of these shimmer shades were so beautiful, and I just kept thinking these scream spring. There's purples, there's blues, there's greens, and I'm really excited to play with this again this spring. It's gonna be a fun one. Next is the Huda Beauty Emerald Obsessions palette. I haven't given this one much love, but my first thought on this palette was St. Patrick's Day, right? It's green, it's got some gold colors in there, and green is a beautiful shade to wear any time of the year, in my opinion. But for spring, absolutely. So I'm excited to play with this one as well. You'll notice I have quite a few indie brands, which excites me because I haven't been giving my indie palettes as much love as they deserve. So this time around, a lot of the colorful palettes that I wanted to wear for spring are indie, and it makes my heart so happy. So this is the Oden's Eye Saga of Freya #2, and it's called Chapter 2 Cat with the Golden Carriage. This one is such a fun color story. It's got a Tiffany blue kind of shade, or robin's egg blue here in this corner, and it's got some oranges. It's got that deep green. It's got this kind of pinky gold duochrome. And looking at this palette, I'm just like, yeah, that'd be really fun to play with in the spring, and it will transition into summer months quite nicely too. I've only used that palette once, and it's time to play with that even more. So I'm really excited about that. I have another Oden's Eye palette, and this one is the collaboration they did with Angelica Nyqvist, and this is the Hella palette. I mean, pink and green is one of my most favorite color combinations ever, and as soon as I opened this, I was like, yes. Yes, absolutely. I love that there's a range of light and dark colors in here, so I can come out with some deeper vampire eyeshadow looks or something light and fresh for spring. I am so thrilled to be able to pull this out and really give it some love because I've only gotten a chance to play with it a couple of times, and it's time to pull it out and play with it and give it all the love. Do I sound creepy? Yes, I do. Next is a Gourmand Girls palette, and this one's Secret Grove. I received this in December when I went to the Creators and Friends event in Las Vegas. This is one of the gifts that they gave us in our little goodie bag. So when I first saw this palette, I opened it and I was like, yellow and this like reddish tone. Those two are eye-popping, but then you start looking at shades like this special shade, and then these two at the top are beautiful as well. I see a lot of spring options here, and it will also transition into summer with some of these brighter tones. I am excited to finally get a chance to play with this because a lot of my focus has been more on winter palettes, and I put that one away temporarily to give myself a chance to play with some of the palettes I pulled for winter. But now it's spring, baby! And it's time for brighter makeup. Okay, I've got this cute little petite palette from Profusion. This one's called Terrific Tulip. You guys, I'm kind of embarrassed to say this, but I bought this over a year ago and it still has the plastic shrink wrap on it. I've never used this. And it is the most adorable little 5-pan palette. It does have a glitter in here, so I'm not sure how that's gonna play out, but I like that there's purple and orange. When I think of purple and orange together, I don't think of tulips right off the bat. I think more of irises. This is gonna be so much fun to dig out and play with. Ooh, this one brings back a lot of memories. So Laura Lee Los Angeles did a collaboration with her niece Erin, and this is the Candy Skies palette. I did do a color story challenge video with this palette when it first came out. So if you're new to my channel and you have no idea what I'm talking about when I say color story challenge, it's where I take a palette like this and I create between 3, 5, or 7 looks using that palette, and I have to use every single eyeshadow in the palette. The looks all have to be different and unique, and yeah, and this is one of my most favorite palettes that I own. Overall, it is the most beautiful palette. This white is beautiful, and I like that I can take this white and I can make any of these shades any lighter, and it mixes really well. This one is a stunning palette, and it also reminds me of like strawberry shortcake or something. It has a really sweet kind of almost lemon-like scent. Oh, that one makes me so happy. Next I have Kaleidos. This one is Futurism number 6, Lunar Lavender. And of course, purples. Don't know if I've used this one, to be honest. I can't recall. But I love that there's just a nice range of purples here. They're not all the same. There's some neutrals here on the ends. And I can use this as a companion palette, or I can use it as a standalone and call it good. I love purple makeup. It's so pretty. So of course, I'm excited to dig out some purples this spring. Next, I have Sigma Enchanted. Now, if this doesn't scream spring, then I don't know what does. Because even though it's a very neutral leaning palette, it's got some brighter tones here. A lot of these are more like topper shades, which aren't typically my favorite kind of eyeshadow to wear, but I feel that for spring, these will work just fine over some of the darker shades. And I think I might do a color story challenge video on this one, because I did one on the Untamed palette that they have, and I had fun with that. Let me know if you want to see that. Another unsung hero in my collection, this is the Huda Beauty Mercury Retrograde. I immediately thought of this palette when I thought of all the spring palettes I wanted to pull out. It's light, it's pastel, but it's also got some depth here on the bottom. It's got some neutrals, and it's got some shades here that will kind of change the tonality of the look. So if I wanted something a little bit softer and pink, then I can do that. Or if I want something a little bit more smoky and sexy, sultry, I have options for that too. This is just a beautiful palette, and it's been a while since I've pulled this out, and I'm excited. How many times have I said excited? Should we make this like a drinking game? If so, take a sip. By the way, that's just water. All right, next is Norvina by ABH. I thought of this one too when I saw it, and I was like, I absolutely should pull this one out for spring. On the outside, it's a very soft purple crushed velvet case. But when you look at the color story, there's this warmer brown and that yellow on the bottom. There are a few shades that are leaning towards pink and lighter purples, but it's not a purple palette per se. When I look at this, I just think it's kind of like a medium neutral palette, because some of these pinks I feel like are more neutral leaning than just standard pink. But I'm excited to play with that. It's been a while since I've pulled Norvina out. There's gonna be some fun had with that palette as well. This is brand new to my collection. I have never used it. I've only ever swatched one eyeshadow out of this entire palette, and this one is from NYX. It's the Ultimate I Know That's Bright. And it is very bright. This one will probably stay in my seasonal collection from spring going into summer, because a lot of these shades will transition to summer very nicely. Yeah, I'm really excited to play with this. From these lighter pastel shades and some of these brighter shimmery shades, I feel like this will just have some really fun looks this spring. I have this palette from Juvia's Place, and it is the Mauves palette. I immediately think of springtime when I think of this, like Mother's Day, pinks and browns together. And then it's got more of a violet toned shade, like an orchid berry, I would describe that as. And I just think this palette looks like a flower. I think of flowers, and of course, with flowers, I think of spring. So perfect, right? The next palette I have here is one that I probably would never pull out any other time of year. It's getting to a point where I might have to declutter this soon, because it does have these unique eyeshadow toppers. This is a Sephora palette. I don't know the name of it. It's just like a spring flower palette. So these 4 shades on the top here are topper shades, but they have a unique texture. They're like a very fine, soft glitter. It's definitely a formula that probably won't last much longer. And then these 4 on the bottom are mattes. These 4 shades on the bottom are pretty light. There's not a lot of oomph to them. Because they're light, I feel like those are good for spring. Nothing too pigmented and bold, because those shadows don't really perform in that way. But I want to get some use out of it before I do have to declutter that palette, because it's old. It's old. And the same goes for this palette. This is from Urban Decay. It's called Shadow Box. This one is really old. When I look at this, it doesn't necessarily scream spring, but there are a couple shades in here, like Free Love. This one, this peachy shade, is one of my hands down ride or die favorite eyeshadows of all time. You've got some classic shades in here from Urban Decay that are part of their permanent collection. I'm just looking forward to playing with this palette. All right, we're getting down to the end. One of the things I told myself when I was going through these palettes was I'm not going to overdo the palettes. For winter, I overdid it and I pulled way too many palettes out, and I struggled to get through using most of them because I couldn't even get through the basket. There was just too many things in there. So this time I was like, nope, we're gonna make sure I don't add add too many. So I have one large Natasha Denona palette, and it is the Tropic palette. I have not played with this one in a hot minute. Granted, this bottom row probably screams summer, but if you look at the middle and top rows of this palette, they scream spring. They're soft, they're beautiful, and I'm really excited to play with these and create some really pretty soft pink eye looks, and then also have some fun with like this navy blue and putting that together with some pinks, and then this golden like limoncello color. I'm so excited to play with that. And this lavender. Okay, I'm excited to play with it all. This is one of those palettes that I always forget that I own, and it's unfortunate because it was really expensive. I'm ready to give this palette some much needed love. And I have this one here from Lorac. It's the Mega Pro 4. I have not played with this in a hot minute. And I was kind of looking through here, and I told myself I already have some large palettes, I don't need another large one. But I was like, no, pull it out, play with it. Even though it's a majorly neutral palette, there's a lot of basic tones, there's a lot of beautiful colors in here too. Like this green is a mossy tone. I love that shade. There's this deep, rich navy blue. There's a cobalt blue. There's a baby blue. I mean, there's so many options in this palette, and I just have not played with this in a long time, and it's time to pull it out and try to use it more, right? The last palette here was one I debated. The reason I pulled this out or kept it through the winter and going into spring is because I'm going to be talking about it in an upcoming video, and it is the Modern Renaissance from ABH. I try not to do too many of the same brand, especially with a brand like ABH where I have a lot of their palettes, just because I want to try to play with more brands and try to play with other palettes that I have. Actually, by the time this video goes up, I might have already talked about this. You should go check out my other videos. But it's a beautiful berry tone palette. It's boring to me in a lot of ways because I do find pinks to be a bit more neutral, berry tones to be a little bit more neutral. And that's it for all the palettes I have pulled out for spring, the palettes that I'm hoping to play with over the next couple of months. If there is a palette you would like to see in an upcoming video, please let me know, and I shall hopefully get around to it shortly. And if you love smoky eyes, I just uploaded my very first masterclass video on that as well, so be sure to check it out. It's on my channel. And yeah, thanks so much for coming and hanging out with me today. And if there's anything that I can say today that might have an impact on your life, that would be to be kind, not only to others, but to yourself. The world can be such a dark place at times, and those little sparkles of kindness really go a long way in helping people feel connected, like people care. It makes people feel valued, and there's nothing more powerful than feeling like you matter in the world. Please spread your sparkles of joy in the world and stay electric as always, and I will see you in the next video. Mwah. Bye!